and I couldn't even believe my eyes. What the hell is this? Hi, this is Shadowscape Pictures, and this is the review for Weapons. At 2:17 a.m. on a random night, 17 kids went missing from Justine's classroom, leaving one kid behind, Alex. The police search but can't find them, and the town's angry, depressed parents are furious with Justine, thinking she knows what happened to them. First off, the music score does a really good job giving you suspense and the thrills. It makes the story flow, unlike most cheap throwaway music in Hollywood these days. Is there a memorable theme in this film? Absolutely not. The cinematography felt more like a film than most cookie cutter stuff on streaming services. There are some one-shots that build suspense. The lighting is dark and moody with a great contrast, giving it that horror mystery vibe. The story is interesting, and I'll say that. It starts with narration about how the kids leave at 2:17 a.m. like heat-seeking missiles. Then there's a town meeting where their parents are pissed and blame Justine. Of course you gotta do that. The narration felt random, like some third-person girl. I thought maybe it would tie into the story a bit more, but nope. This film has chapters for the characters and how their stories intersect. Justine, Archer, Paul, James, Marcus, and Alex! Why is there so many? After the first few, it was okay, but after James, it just got really annoying really fast. The problem is the director didn't focus on a small amount of characters. He had to focus on a bunch of characters, and that's why I think it lacked a lot of depth. I wanted maybe to get to know 1 to 2 characters and then just go on a mysterious journey with them. Without the chapters, it's a basic cookie cutter film trying to do horror differently, but it doesn't make it better. I'm just gonna do spoilers because I don't really give a shit about this overhyped trash. Justine, the alcoholic, goes on a bender after being accused. She walks cautiously, which makes sense. Her car gets vandalized with the word witch. Obviously that implies what this movie's about. The town then blames her. She investigates where the kids could have gone, following Alex, the only kid that was left. It's weird they covered the windows with newspaper, but no one questions it. How does nobody question this in this film? The neighbors were like, hey, we just saw you cover up all your damn windows, and nobody comes out ever besides Alex, and that's it. None of the neighbors said, hey, why isn't Alex's parents doing anything? Do they not have jobs or anything? They're just like, I'm sick or something. They didn't explain any of this. Then Justine stakes out Alex's house, and Alex's mom comes out and cuts Justine's hair. Well, maybe she has a weird fetish. Archer, played by Josh Brolin, is likable. He's trying to figure out where his son went. He obviously painted witch on Justine's car because it already alludes to that with the paint. He has resentment for Justine, but then it gets interesting. He has a dream about the M16 and a time in a cloud, basically. And that kind of tells him that these kids were like heat-seeking missiles! That's what I gathered from that. That's how he figured out that these kids just ran in like a straight line. It was kind of cool they put that in there, but at the end of the day, was it really necessary? Not exactly. Then as Archer is figuring this all out, he goes and sees Justine, and then they talk. And then Marcus attacks Justine. And then boom, the next character. Paul the cop doesn't do much besides cheating with Justine and getting stabbed by the crackhead. This character could have been interesting if they focused more on him, but no, they did not. The director just seemed way too indecisive with so many characters. James the crackhead steals stuff. He breaks into Alex's house, finds the kids in the basement, and tails Paul after stabbing him. They then go to the house, and he just gets invited in, and nobody questions why there's a cop car sitting at Alex's house. Nobody questions where Paul was all day. He's obviously on duty, but he just goes missing all day, because that shit did not make any sense. Then you got Paul that comes out, and then he drags James into the house. And then you would think that would matter, but no, it does not. Marcus, the principal, is a fruitcake. Justine questions Alex's home, but Marcus tells her to back the hell off. The girl had an actual good question as to why there was newspaper on the windows, and they decided not to do anything anything about it. Like, you can't make this shit up. Then the most absurd crap shows up. And that's when Gladys shows up, and I couldn't even believe my eyes. What the hell is this? She looks like a damn clown. After that, the movie just turns into an absolute comedy fest. Gladys, the clown witch, asks for a bowl of water. Like, what is this movie? And you're like, yeah, here you go. After she's acting all crazy and shit when she's coming in your house. And you're like, yeah, this is fine, guys. Like, come on. This chick looks more wacko than anybody. Marcus then gives her the bowl. She then takes out a branch and then grabs homie's fruitcake's lover's hair. And then she puts blood on it, wraps it around, and then she does the old snap. And this is where she uses her witchcraft to control Marcus. He goes full on fruitcake and bashes his fruitcake lover with his head. And no, it was not his little head. Then Gladys the clown puts the branch into the bowl of water, stopping Marcus from beating the shit out of the fruitcake. Like, this movie, man, I can't believe it. Then Gladys the clown wraps Justine's hair, twig or whatever branch, cuts herself, rubs her little blood on it, and then snaps it. And then Marcus goes full on heat-seeking missile. You can't make this shit up. It's like comedy at its finest. Then chases Justine. She gets away, and then he gets the old bye-bye, turn it off from a vehicle. And it was pretty gruesome, I'll say that. And now it's Alex's story. Now this brings us all the way back before the 2:17 a.m. heat-seeking missiles. Alex's parents bring Gladys over the clown, but no explanation for her witch status. She makes Alex's parents stab themselves with forks, feeding on their life force. Then you find out she's sick, and then she needs more souls to suck the life out of. And she gets Alex to do her dirty work. So then he basically grabs a bunch of name tags that are personalized to all these kids in his classroom, brings it home. She does some old witchcraft. And boom, they're going like heat-seeking missiles. They gone nuts. Honestly, this movie should have been called Clownery, Witchcraft, and Heat-Seeking Missiles. And then this explains the kids leaving at 2:17 a.m., which was absolutely dumb as hell. They're all flying into the house. We gotta get in there. The actress who plays Clownery Gladys the Witch did well despite an absurd ending in this film. There was no explanation on how Gladys the Clown heals herself, but she still looks like the Crypt Keeper with clown makeup. The director stops with the chapters and finally wants to end this trash. Justine and Archer work together. They get to Alex's house. Paul, controlled by Gladys the Clown, lets them in and he tries to kill Justine. And then as she's getting choked by him, which I just thought was absolutely ridiculous, because him choking her, he just would have just crushed her easily. She would have been bye-bye, turn it off real quick. Then she grabs a carrot peeler and she starts cutting his face up, and he doesn't feel a damn thing. At least like smack him or something. Do something instead of peeling his face. Throw a few punches, you know? Do something instead of let's peel his skin off. I just did not get that. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And then you got Archer and the crackhead do some WWE wrestling, which is absolutely absurd. Then he kept going after him over and over again, and he's just like tossing him like a damn salad. It went from a serious film, then it went to a comedy. You had such a great build-up, and you decided to say, you know what, screw it, let's just make this a comedy, I don't even give a shit. Then you got Alex who crosses the salt and his parents chase him. And then Justine makes Paul and James go bye-bye, turn it off. Then Archer goes to the basement after seeing a bunch of kids down there, tries looking for his son. And then you got Gladys being like, boo! You can't make this shit up. It's so stupid. Archer is controlled by Gladys and he starts choking the shit out of Justine. She still hasn't gone bye-bye, turn it off yet. And Gladys shows up and it's like, sup y'all? Alex is trying to figure out how to stop his parents from making him go bye-bye, turn it off. He figures it out by watching Gladys the Clownery obviously do this a few times. So then he wraps Gladys the Clownery's hair, and then he's like, yeah, let's just snap it. And this is where the absurdity peaks. She's just like, oh no, and then she's just booking it. Just running for her life as these kids are chasing her through all these houses. And just how she outmaneuvers a few of the kids and such is just perfect. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching anymore. And then ultimately the kids get to her and then they just shred her to pieces. And it's actually pretty satisfying overall after the bullshit she pulled. It would make so much more sense if this was throughout the entire film. I would have been way more accepting to this. The tone shift from dark horror to dark comedy is totally the director's fault. It's just like Barbarian. It starts off very well, then nosedives into pure ridiculousness. The director's dry humor might be better suited for comedies instead of trying to make a horror film or whatever the hell he was trying to make, and just stick with that. I don't know why we have movies these days that are changing up the damn tones like 28 years later. It's totally unnecessary. And I think 28 years later did it way worse than this film. At least there was a lot more sprinkled comedy throughout this. Why you guys gotta ruin your movies like this? And everyone's like, oh my god, I love this movie! All the time. Everybody does this. It gets really annoying. Like, nobody can critically look at films and be like, hey, you know what? This was not that good. But everyone's like, oh my god, it gave me some level of satisfaction and this is the best goddamn movie ever! And it's getting so annoying. I will say, if you didn't like Barbarian, you definitely won't like this film at all. People's standards are extremely low these days, and they'll hype anything up. Sinners is a much better film than this. At least it has a lot more character development. The takeaway from this film is don't trust people who ask for a bowl of water when they're thirsty. Don't invite weird clown freaks into your house. If someone asks you if you called the cops, maybe call the cops. And if someone's house is covered with newspaper on their windows, they're probably hiding something. Overall, this movie's a 5 out of 10.
That is one big pile of shit.
I won't remember this crap, which is a complete shame because the setup, the cinematography, and the sound is great. Just doesn't deserve the hype it has. And I do think this would have been a better short film than an actual feature film. That's the review for Clownery, Witchcraft, and Heat-Seeking Missiles. If you guys like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts on this absolute trash. And of course, if you didn't like this video, bye-bye, turn it off!